All right. So, yeah, we're not quite at 100 anymore, and whatever reason that may be doesn't really matter to me. The fact of the matter is, we hit 100 once, and I still think that's a very cool thing. True, but 69 is more special. I actually don't remember who is follower 69. I, I should probably make a note of that somewhere. Start keeping track of certain number for followers. Whoever gets 420 will be marked. That much is certain. Um, but yeah, we hit 100 once, and that was actually kind of cool. I didn't actually ever expect to reach anywhere when it came to streaming, so it's kind of been a fascinating journey. I'm still very small, but I appreciate, the growth that I've had so far. And I've actually already come a long way since I started streaming in the first place, actually. So, not everyone is familiar with my earlier escapades into streaming, mostly because I was part of an entirely different community than I am now. I wasn't a VCAT or anything. I was actually part of, what was it called? The Nerdhood. I was part of like a fan base for a guy named Inters, who is actually one of my closer friends. And I need to chat with, Inters and crew more. But, back then, I still lived out in the country, so my internet was about the speed of dial up. And if you know dial up, you know exactly the problem that my old, 2017 streams had. I think the bitrate was something like 400. It was super crusty. And originally, I wanted to spend today doing, a little bit of art and then also play, the first game I had ever streamed, which was Metal Gear Solid 1. However, I could not get it to work for some reason. That's ultra cursed. I mean, fitting, I'm a ghost. But yeah, I wanted to get Metal Gear Solid 1 working, and I just couldn't. I've got the disc, but, I did an ISO dump and all that jazz, but I just couldn't get it to work on, any emulators or anything. And I don't have a working PlayStation 2 to boot it off of, nor the capture card to record that on my computer or anything, so I had to take things in another direction. Maybe it's too powerful. No, it's more like a lot of PlayStation 1 emulation is kind of outdated. Metal Gear Solid, yeah, I know. A lot of PlayStation 1 emulators haven't been updated in several years. I think one of the most recent was actually in 2020, but it's not my cup of tea in terms of emulation. There's also the fact that there is, EPSXE, which I don't think has been updated since 2013. So yeah, needless to say, that one's out the window. It was still around when, Vista was still kicking it. So, I won't reveal what the game is that I chose, but it is one of the first games that I streamed. One of, because I've actually streamed a few different games when I was starting. And it's one that I think will actually work pretty well for today's format, where it's more of a one-off kind of dealio. And generally, I just hope that today's stream is more on the chill side. I'm not sitting there trying it's not Rhine time today. Unfortunately, it's not Rhine time. And I'm not getting beat up by Riku either, so instead, today we're kind of just vibing. We're gonna get into art soon enough here. I think I'll probably be doing requests with it. We'll see. I'll have to do like a warm-up doodle or two, but let's move over to that. Hold on. Gotta update the category. There we are. Now, I've got a weird setup for this. Technically, my tablet is a, art is cool to me since I suck at it. Trust me, I wasn't exactly good at it either for the longest time. It takes some time to get used to. And while I'm not exactly an expert, I definitely have some experience in it. Oh, everything is misaligned. So yeah, I usually start with a massive canvas and then crop it out afterwards. But the main thing I think about art is you don't have to worry too much about how it looks, because let's face it, everyone starts somewhere. And, you know, you could start off with drawing skills about like this, and no one can really say much about that, because like, what do they say? You've just started. You've got places to go. You just gotta keep practicing with it. For me, I probably should take some classes in art at some point. I never have. So a lot of the stuff that I do is very messy. But I think it's also a very relaxing experience, and one that I take a little less often these days than I used to. I used to draw like every day, but I haven't quite had the time anymore, thanks to work. Usually I'd kind of just chicken scratch it at first. Because I think, for me, that's just the best way to go about it. Some people will recommend against it, and I don't blame them. It is a very messy way to start things. But, you know, to each their own. We've all got our own ways of handling just about everything. But yeah, it's been kind of fun streaming, and I hope to keep up with it even when I get into college. Because I'm actually, after stream, I'm going to get started working on setting stuff up for college. And before you know it, I'll be learning. And I think that'll be kind of cool to get back into school. I've been away from it for a while, and we'll see how well I do. I've got faith that I can pull it off, of course, but I'm also well aware that the start is gonna be the roughest part, because, you know, like I said, been away from school for a while. I probably am not as familiar with accomplishing anything. Stressful but pog. And it looks good on a resume too, which is also very nice. And I want to try and get into the computer programming classes for college. We'll see if I can do that. But whatever happens, it most certainly happens. And I haven't drawn like this in a while. I have a different setup compared to how I normally draw, because this particular tablet that I'm using actually has a screen on it, and to avoid, you know, basically being impossible to hear 9 times out of 10, I'm currently just having it on my lap and having its display match exactly what my desktop shows. Because otherwise I would have no idea what I'm doing. And I would probably sound like... I'd sound like this. Because I'd be constantly looking down at the thing that I was drawing on. And that wouldn't be as audible now, would it? Though that said, it's not as though audio quality is nearly as important this time around. That sounds very bad. Yeah. Probably also bad for my posture. But, usually that's how I draw. It's like a shrimp position. But I think this will work better for now. I used to have a tablet that I would leave in my lap for this kind of thing, actually. I don't have it in immediate grasp right now, and that's primarily because I just was not agreeing with my computer anymore. Something about how that tablet worked, it did not agree with multi-monitor setups, and since I use 2 monitors extensively, it just stopped functioning. And that was a shame too, because that drawing tablet has been with me for years now. That like old one of mine. It cost $60. I don't remember what model it was, but it was a it wasn't a Wacom or whatever. It was like a Monoprice. It was a Monoprice tablet. And it lasted me... Let's see, how long did I have that thing? I think I had that thing for... Oh God, was it really like 8 years? Yeah, I had it for a while. It was... surprisingly durable. I think I accidentally dropped some of my like high school textbooks on it when I like had first gotten it and stuff like that. You suck at taking care of technology? I usually am okay with it, but my early years, not as much. I feel like the head should be bigger. Nope, that's not lasso. Longest you've had a piece of technology is my 12-year-old Nintendo 64. Trying to remember what the longest I've had anything was. I think that would actually belong to... I think that would actually belong to my Nintendo 64. I don't remember how long we've had that. And I can't do math readily on the fly, because I've always been bad at mental math. If you give me like a sheet of paper, I can do math pretty okay. And I guess technically I've got a sheet of paper right now, but I'm focusing on this drawing. Oh, hey Bulldog. Sorry you can't stay. You wanted to send at least congratulations for the milestone. Thank you, Bulldog. Have a nice day. It's still kind of wild to me, the kind of places I've gone online. Because to me, I'm still, like, it never really feels like I've gotten anywhere in online communities sometimes. Like, I'm pretty sure everyone has, like, those days where they feel like they haven't gotten anywhere. And occasionally I have those days as well. But then I remember, like, I've made a whole bunch of friends online. I've met people I probably never would have even known about that have helped me out a lot in life thanks to the internet and stuff like that. And I really can't help but be thankful for the fact that, you know, the internet has been able to provide that for me at all. And it's also kind of funny to think about the fact that, like, certain aspects of my life would probably be very different if it wasn't for, like, very specific things I did online. For example, you may have seen Poppy popping into the chat. Nice going, brain. But the entire reason I even met Poppy was because of one, like, little web comic thing? I don't know how to describe quests to people who are not familiar with the aspect of it. It's sort of like an interactive webcomic, I guess, is the way to put it. Basically, like, the author will allow the readers to choose actions for the main character or whatever. And the quest in question was called Mono Room. And if you've ever read, like, I don't know, Ruby Quest, it was pretty obvious where the inspirations came from. It was not very original. But I don't exactly regret making it, because it had some of its own ideas. Some of them were actually kind of neat. And I also think that if it wasn't for that, I'd have missed out on at least a couple friends that I never would have met without it. And it's kind of, I guess it's kind of like a, what do they call it? A butterfly effect? Because all these things pretty much owe their existence to one odd, what seemingly minor choice I made in life. And likewise, I don't think I would have been here for the VCAT stuff if it wasn't for, funnily enough, getting really into Phasmophobia. Yeah, my entire reason for being here pretty much owes its entire existence to Phasmophobia. I don't know if I would have gotten into streaming were it not for the VCATs. I did some streaming before then, but I never did it as frequently as I do now. And not to mention, a lot of it had very low bitrate before I got into VCATs. You know, as I was telling you, Windex, 400 bitrate. It sounds just as bad as it was. I think I actually have some highlights from that time frame still somewhere on the channel. And they are crusty. It's like going back to early 2000s YouTube all over again. Albeit without all of the surprisingly high amount of customizability you had on the channel page. Does anyone remember that, though? Like, you were used to be able to customize your YouTube page, like, a lot. It was kind of ridiculous. I remember very specifically most people's pages looked like vomit. Because, like, no one knew how to make a properly tiled background, and even less knew anything about color theory. It was a wild time, the early 2000s internet. And, yeah, I kind of miss that. But at the same time, there are many aspects of modern internet that I greatly prefer. And one of those is I never have to deal with Skype ever again. Ugh, Skype was a nightmare to fiddle with sometimes. If you had an issue with Skype, it was over. You just couldn't. Don't know much about the internet of that time due to me never using the internet before a few years ago when you got into Smash. That's fair. Not everyone has a lot of the same experience as I do with the internet. And there's people who have internet experiences that I never would. I mean, a good example, actually, EverQuest. I didn't really play that a whole lot when I was younger. So, a lot of experiences people have fond memories of that could only be had in EverQuest, I've got no experience in it all. Only really used internet for school. I primarily used internet in school. but not the way it was intended. So a lot of the times they'd be like, oh, you gotta go online to get research for your paper. I would do that, I'd finish it up quicker than everyone else, and then after that I would play RuneScape. The funny part is none of my teachers were against it, and it was purely because I was actually, doing my work and doing it well. I think I remember at one point finishing up, like, what was it an assignment for? I think I was... Oh, right. The thing that I was finishing up on, it was like a research paper on acidity. We were looking... Like, it was that time period where we were learning about acids, bases, pH levels, the like. And I had finished that up very quickly and immediately got on to RuneScape. And I think... What did I do again? Oh. I think that was the time, like, I was still kind of new to good old RuneScape and didn't know there was literally no way you could wear the goblin armor. So I tried to do one of the things that, people said you had to do to wear goblin armor, because I was a gullible child and very easily pulled. You probably could have told me Alt F4 would do it, and it would have worked on young me. Slow bad worker. It doesn't matter if you're, like, on the slower side or anything, as long as, you're trying, that's good. Because I don't think anyone needs to be fast at what they do. You can be fast if you want to, but ultimately everyone works at a different pace. I always forget how much the shape of the eyes isn't easy to get in one stroke. I wonder if I can remember anything else from, like, old school, like, memories that I've got. I didn't have a lot of real life friends when I was in school. I think it took me until about 8th grade before I actually had one. I was not very popular in the school that I had initially grown up in, so I didn't really get friends until I had moved. And one of those friends I am actually still in contact with way after high school has ended. Occasionally, I will talk about an individual named Jerry. That individual I know from as early as 8th grade. And anyone who knows them is well aware that they are a spawn of chaos. I don't think you can ever play a game with Jerry and have it go normal. Or at least I certainly never have. Though then again, most people when they play with me, it doesn't go normal either, so maybe I'm the chaos being. Regardless, I didn't never really hung out much with people in real life when I was still in like early elementary school and stuff like that. I instead made a lot of friends in MMOs. You may like, some people wonder why I'm as into the MMO genre as I am, and I think it's entirely because a lot of my first friends were from there. I still remember, I don't remember their username very well anymore, and that's mostly because it was a mess of symbols. But one of the people I hung out with a lot in Maple Story back in the day was a warrior. And since I mained a healer, we'd frequently go on quests together because basically anything he couldn't survive, I could heal him for. And if we ever fought any, like, undead monsters, I was perfect for the job. I wish I was still in contact with the guy. It was always super chill to just hang out with him. That is the one thing I will say that I don't like about online friendships, or at least early online friendships, is that if you at any point forget to add them on like other things, like, I don't know, get their phone number or their Discord, you kind of lose them forever. And I've lost a lot of early online friends because of that. Because they moved on to do other things. You know, a lot of my friends that I made in Maple Story I haven't heard from in years because, well, they moved on from Maple Story. And it kind of sucks, but, like, at the same time, we all move on. I can't honestly expect them to be the exact same people that I knew when I was younger. They could be someone entirely different now. But I do also, at the same time, while knowing that, greatly miss being able to just hang out and, you know, just grind on, like, certain quests, certain dungeons and the like. I've always had a fondness for RPGs, so MMOs, being able to play an RPG with thousands of different players, it pretty much is the best thing that could ever happen to me. I don't remember some other MMOs that I played a lot of, because I have played a lot of MMOs. I had some time in World of Warcraft during its Wrath of the Lich King expansion. I've also got some time in... what was it called? Trickster Online. And then I also played Mabinogi. I think that's how you pronounce it. I actually have no idea how you pronounce it. Truth of the matter is, I've played maybe too many MMOs. To the point where a lot of them kind of blur together, and I've probably misremembered certain events in certain, like, lesser played games of mine. Like, I didn't play Law Tale a whole lot, so chances are any memories I have associated with that one might actually have been from another game. That said, I had literally no reason to play a whole bunch of Lattale. Before you ask, yes, I use the bucket tool. Some people will say that the bucket tool should never be used or whatnot, but I'm lazy. I'll fill in the holes that I need to, if it doesn't fill in everything that's necessary. Yeah, I actually really like the bucket tool. It's very useful, and if I didn't have it, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't color very often. You'd probably see me being one of those people who only uploads, like, line art. So while I'm not bad with colors, I am sort of a lazier individual. Ugh. One part about this eye design of mine is it is not easy to do. I just realized that I forgot the stitches on, like, the neck and mouth. Not that the ones on the mouth are necessary, because, you know, I've forgotten them so many times at this point, I've just said, yeah, sometimes they don't have to be there. But the ones on the neck, those ones I always try to put on. Because it almost has, like, a choker-like vibe. I really like the look of chokers. Glad I've said that out loud. It kind of sounds weird, but oh well. I don't know if, like, MapleStory music is copyrighted or whatnot, but I would love to be playing certain tracks from that. Because those music tracks from MapleStory hold so much nostalgia for me. In fact, why don't we do that real quick? If it gets DMCA'd, oh well, there was an attempt. So, we'll do that real quick. MapleStory, let's do Orbis Tower. Now I'm having, like, all sorts of memories of trying to climb that tower while, like, seriously underleveled. I don't know why, but, like, whenever I play MMOs, I always have this desire to go through things while extremely underleveled. I did it in Terra, I've done it in MapleStory, I've done it in World of Warcraft, I've even done it in Final Fantasy XIV. I guess every now and then I just have to see how far I can get while, like, seriously out of my league. Maybe it's just genuine curiosity. I never know why I do it, but I do know that it always leads to some of, like, my favorite memories. Oop. Oop, wrong layer. It would help to go to the right layer. Here's the first little doodle right there. I don't know how long that took us, but it wasn't very long. Let's see. I was talking about Mono Room earlier. I figure maybe what I oop, hitting keys. Figure what I should do is try to draw one of the characters from it. Thing is, I don't really remember too much about the characters, so I'm gonna have to dig a little bit into my files. The thing about Monoroom, though, is I don't think I spent enough time actually building up what I wanted to do with it, and I feel like that's an issue I have a lot with many of the quests that I had started. I think I started like 3 of them. There was Monoroom, Avatar Pace, and Hall. All 3 of them, I didn't really have a plan going in, and I think that's why I ended up, like, seriously dissatisfied with them. Because, I mean, understandable why I would feel that way. Because, I mean, it's basically unfinished. Going into things like super early has taught me that, yeah, it really helps to plan ahead. And I've been doing a lot better with that lately. Because I had too many projects that I had basically just completely neglected by not treating it with the time and respect that is needed to make a decent story. There was like this thing about being able to draw on the world in Monoroom, and it would like form doors and stuff like that. We'll do the main character that I remember the most. And I think one that I've drawn the most as well, because it was the most active part of the story. So a lot of people, when they make these quests, they have it where, like, they usually have one site that they work off of, and they only have, like, a couple main characters. What I had done with Monoroom is I had hosted it on like 3 different sites, and every site had its own character to play as. And I don't think any of the websites were familiar with that fact until like way after I had stopped working on it and talked about like some, retrospective stuff on the project. Music is surprisingly fitting for just, looking back at the past. Oop, that eye is slightly misaligned. This was also back in a time frame where I never really did much in terms of anatomical sketches. I just sort of sketched everything out. Let me bring out one of the pieces real quick. And you can kind of see just how much has changed in my art. Right here. This is like one of the panels that... God, it's really bad. But this was one of the panels that I had for Monoroom, and I used a lot of Binary Tool back then for some reason. And I think it was primarily because I didn't want to bother with anti-aliasing. But I've improved a lot in art since that time frame, and that was like back in 2015? I think that was about when I first started making a mark on the internet for Reels, because I wasn't much of a content creator until that point. Just drawing this character is bringing back a lot of memories. During this time frame when I was doing Monoroom, I didn't have a whole lot of faith in myself as an artist. And I have a lot more of it now that I've had a chance to improve, understand, my strengths and weaknesses as an artist. Because it's really just a learning process for everyone. It is a very slow process, like any sort of learning. And I think that was what had ultimately defeated me back then. Because I was just not in the right state of mind then. Of course, these days, I'm doing a lot better. I'm a much happier individual. I've had time to also improve on my art. And that arm is longer than the other one. Hold up. But I think it's just genuinely a good idea to occasionally just look back in the past when it comes to like anything you're learning. Because no matter what, even if you haven't gone far, you've gone somewhere. And that's already so much better than a lot of people do. Because there's a lot of people who don't even make the effort. And by making the effort, you're already a step ahead of people who don't. That's for the sake of, you know, paying respects to the past. We're gonna go with some binary. You know, just to really sell that it's the same Monoroom character. Where did this play? I know I'm supposed to keep my swears down to a minimum, because, you know, PG-13. Oh, hi, Jellycat. And yeah, right now we're doing art. Later on, the plan is to play one of the first games that I had ever streamed. It was going to be Metal Gear Solid 1, but I couldn't figure out how to get that to work. There's also been a lot of, like, looking back on the past and all that. And we're listening to MapleStory music, so more nostalgia. I'm glad you're happy. The first thing we had accomplished was a nice little doodle of yours truly. And we're currently revisiting an old character right here. So since you weren't here, this particular character I drew like way back in 2015. And it was part of like a... Oh, hi Kishiru. Lurking? Alright, that's fine. Enjoy. This character comes from sort of like a webcomic type deal. The term for it is quest. If you're familiar with like Ruby Quest or actually even Homestuck, then you should know more or less what it is. They're basically like interactive webcomics where the readers are capable of inputting actions to the main character. I always thought that the concept was interesting, but I never really got too far into any of my quests to make it work. Oh man, this is Perion music. Perion? I'm actually still not, to this day, sure how to pronounce most of the location names in MapleStory, but the track that's playing right now, you would hear that if you wanted to be like a... Warrior, that's it. The fans were a bit intense, but the content was really fun. For which one? Ruby Quest or Homestuck? Because I know Homestuck was intense. I don't know much about the Ruby Quest scene. Homestuck fans? Oh yeah. Some of them are still super intense, which is... If I'm gonna be honest, it's impressive. Don't know Ruby Quest? It's one of the older quests out there. It's very horror themed, so if you don't like body horror and blood and stuff like that, I would strongly recommend against it. Anyone who, you know, may be watching and curious about that. But it had a lot of influence on me even starting quests. In fact, this Monoroom character and everything Monoroom... Oh, yep, thanks. Not a fan of gore. Understandable. I don't blame anyone if they're not, like, keen on such things. You like spooky spooks and twisty surrealism, then Silent Hill is where you want to go, though it also has a bit of the gore aspect. Oh man. Now this is reminding me of, like, where did this play? Hennessy's in, like, the outer town region. You'd go out and, like, you'd get slaughtered by green mushrooms if you were low enough level. I remember very specifically always seeing someone's gravestones there, because there was always someone dying to those, like, green mushrooms. If I remember correctly, her gown was supposed to be like a desaturated green. I think that was it, yeah. Oop. Didn't hit it. I gotta zoom in. I'm not very accurate with my clicks. There we go. Oop. Windows freaking out again. There we go. I suppose right here I can actually do few requests of sorts, because I drew all the stuff that I was wanting to try out. So if anyone's got any, like, requests, I can probably do something. And close that out since it was kind of just there to show off the thing. I find oftentimes with horror, for me, though, I tend to prefer stuff that kind of screws with people. So PT, for example, it doesn't have a whole lot of gore or blood for that matter, but it manages to be super freaky despite, you know, not having those things, purely because it messes with your expectations. Oh, Alinea music. On memories of this place too. You could, like, enter certain trees and there would be these lovely grinding spots that you could enter. I remember spending several hours in one particular location and someone else was there grinding against some of the green mushrooms as well. And we were just chatting about how the day was going for us, and it... Kira, thank you for the follow. I think that would put us back at 100 now. Again, I never really expected to get this far. in like streaming or anything, and actually putting my foot out in the door and giving everything a shot has kind of been a riveting experience, actually, seeing where I can go uh, just by being myself. And that's... I'm just really happy to have gotten here. And 100 followers, but more than 100 things to be proud of. Yeah. Welcome, Kira. Welcome, Loot Cat. Hold on. Sorry, I teary-eyed a little bit, if I'm gonna be honest. It's just wild to have gotten anywhere online for me, because I've spent a good portion of my life not thinking I could really do much of anything. And ever since I've put, like I was saying, put my my foot in the doorway, I've found that I can actually do quite a bit, and I've made a lot of friends here online. Thank you, Loot Cat. Oh yeah, Loot Cat was here when I was doing Kingdom Hearts, actually. He got to watch me first try Riku, which apparently is a really hard fight. And yes, it was a really hard fight for me, but apparently in like the PS2 version, every time you died, you had to sit through like a 3-minute cut scene that was unskippable. So thank God I played that on the PS4 version. But yes, if anyone has requests, I can do that. Who is the light and also the darkness in a Kingdom Hearts is the light and friendship? 1,000 cutscenes. I'd like to imagine if Darkside Phil ever played Kingdom Hearts, that was like one of his major trappings, that fight. There are my feelings on Kingdom Hearts plot. Understandable. They're really fun. I've had a lot of fun playing Kingdom Hearts and just hanging out. What is this music from? Sleepywood. It's from the Sleepywood Caves. Oh man, I remember going in there a lot. I would die like frequently until I reached like the undead mushrooms and found out that heal actually damaged undead creatures in MapleStory. Oh, man. I used to go into the Sleepywood dungeon all the time with like a group of friends, and we would spend hours in that dungeon just exploring, because it was like one of the most dangerous places in the game for like early levels. And you know, like, curious kids will always be curious kids, so we had to venture into this dangerous location and see how far we could get before we died. I think we made it to the boss of the dungeon and were promptly party wiped. I don't know how to really describe it. But it was like, I was, you know, a healer. I'll just draw it out, I guess. And the entire reason I was a healer is because at the time, I didn't know what a cleric meant in RPGs. So I had accidentally found myself in a position where I was healing everyone in the party as, like, you know, everyone else was fighting these undead mushrooms. Can't make a mushroom cap very easily, apparently. They had, like, these, talisman on their head. I don't remember what was on it. I think it was, like, some sort of kanji or whatever. But we'll put a little skull instead, because that's what I can do. But, like, imagine you've got, like, one of these things, and then suddenly there's, like, a billion of them, because there's just constantly more and more of them spawning, because no one would go into this Sleepywood dungeon. So now you've got, you know, 3 of these, and they're very angry. I don't remember what level they were. I believe there were like 39? And we were venturing into the Sleepywood dungeon at like level, I want to say like 18. Remember your first time with healing hurts undead mechanic? Phoenix down on zombie train? Oh. Yeah, I forgot that was a thing you could do. It's a mechanic that I don't think actually gets used much anymore. Or at all. Well, if no one's got any, like, drawing requests, I can switch over to the game that I had set up to play today. Works on the Final Fantasy X Final Boss 2? Really? Wow. The water from the Deku Tree kills the plant boss in Wind Waker. Oh, right! I remember that. I had forgotten. Wasn't that like a bug or something? Or was that like actually like an intentional mechanic? What was that? I don't even remember what that was. Oh well. No, it's intentional considering that is the only enemy it hurts. Very interesting stuff. I always find it interesting when there's like weird side things you can do to beat enemies. Like the bug net in A Link to the Past when fighting, what was his name, Aghanim? If you use the bug net, you could bounce back his magic projectiles against him instead of using the sword. And weren't you able to use, like, the bottle against Ganondorf and Ocarina of Time? Zelda's got a lot of weird ways to finish off enemies now that I think about it. There's probably something you can do against, like, Skull Kid to just really embarrass him. In Twilight Princess, you're pretty sure you can use the fishing rod to distract Ganon? Huh. I actually didn't know about that one. Then again, I don't think I ever got very far in Twilight Princess. I really loved the way that it looked. And I had a lot of fun with it, but I think by the time I got like far in Twilight Princess, I just stopped playing games for a while. Or at least console games, because I think that was around the time that I got my first PC. And with that, I started playing StarCraft almost religiously. But yeah, if none of you got any art requests, I can start moving over to the game that I had set up. It's like I was saying earlier in the stream, it was one of the first games that I had ever streamed. And because it was one of the first, it was back when I still had country internet. Meaning that the bitrate was like 400 or 600, depending on whether my brother was on Netflix watching Family Guy or not. Seriously, that internet would just shudder and die if at any point my brother was watching Family Guy on Netflix. I don't know why, but it specifically that would just tank our bandwidth. And I think we never actually got him to stop. So he always pretty much had Family Guy running in the background. The only time I could really catch him before then is if he was visiting like a friend's place, and that was usually when I streamed back in 2017. Yeah, why don't we move over to that, since I'm not really seeing anything here. Character gives you Cave Story Plus vibes? I can see it, though if I recall, the original inspiration for that goat character was I think it was a lemming, because they all had like those weird robes, and I always thought that looked really cool. When I was younger, I really liked robes. I actually, somewhere in my closet is an old like Hobbit cloak that I had, because I went for Halloween when I was like 8? Like 8 or 9, I went as a Hobbit for Halloween, and my grandmother made that little Hobbit cloak for me. It certainly doesn't fit anymore, but, you know, I keep it because it's special to me. I spent a lot of time trying to get, like, different cloaks and the like. Okay, since I started listening to this Maple Story music, I've just had constant, like, memories of the past. Okay. So, we'll stop the nostalgia music and swap on over to our normal game time stuff. I don't know why that's actually being tracked, but here we go. We gotta change the window a bit. There we go. This is actually something that I had done an ISO dump on. And this particular game is, for some reason, do not know how to pronounce. So this, I think, is pronounced as Baroque, but I may be wrong on that. But this was, I think, the second or third game I had ever streamed. And obviously, since it was one of the, like, early streams, it was very crusty.
EEG readings are moving violently.
Increase the barbiturate sedative.
I'm getting changes in sections E4, T4, and the multiple temperance wave.
Displaying pattern with MRI. Administering the receptor inhibitors.
But this is a game I've played, like, only that one time I streamed.
Right. The twisted ones are writhing in pain. There's really no need to reproduce those with Baroques, though.
Baroques. Okay, so Baroque was right.
You didn't talk with the twisted ones? Whatever. Only this time, I exist at the same time somewhere else. That is because this is not the real world. When you awaken, that will be reality. Do you understand? Illusions do not exist in reality. Use this.
So, the thing about this particular game is that it's a roguelike.
Can you hear my voice? I hope you can come to where I am soon.
And I don't know much about this game. I just know that it has a very unique atmosphere to it. I do know that originally this was a Japanese-only Sega Saturn game, and that this PS2 or Wii version, depending on which console you preferred, is more or less the remake of that game. There we go. Now we got some equipment on. Tame's stubborn. I actually really like the music in this game, personally, but I've also got odd tastes, I guess? I do remember this being really hard, though. And, like, certain items will explode. It is music, though. Yeah? It's better than some, stuff I've heard in games I've played.
Who will disappear?
You, apparently. What was that about? Okay. Feel like no music is better than really bad music. Oh, for sure. Like, if someone's game has music that sounds like someone fell on a MIDI keyboard, I'd rather have, like, silence. Probably shouldn't. Wait, no, that's throwing it. How do I use it? I need something that restores vitality. Basement from Resident Evil? My second roll, the meat's still good. Yep. The basement from Resident Evil 1, though, I think is one of those things where it's just so bad that it's hilarious. Has a right to remain. Also, okay, hold on. Can I... Select button, game config. Camera settings. Reversed left and right, because you have it inverted by default. What was it with PS2 games and doing that? A lot of PS2 games, the left and right camera movement was, like, inverted. Oh, hello.
Come down and burn your duty into your brain.
Wait. What do you want me to wait on? Oh, I obtained junk. They measure in cubits? Apparently. Fight Jesus? Maybe. This game is, from what I remember, all about sins. So it probably actually will have me fight Jesus. What is this? A trap. Okay. Okay, I need health. Recovery D. Puny. What? Oh, there's a lot of enemies here. So this is how it ends. I can just step on those tiny things. That would have been useful to know earlier, before I started trying to swing at them with my sword. I feel like when the Angel Man was talking the first time, he explained most JRPGs. Probably. Use as an item to identify. A lot of JRPGs really like their Bible symbolism. Oh. That apparently wasn't an enemy. Another appraisal. Bible symbolism, the world is not real type stuff. Oh yeah. There's not much in this room. Planet was blank of a pure, peaceful place full of magic. Then the evil blanks came and shattered the sacred blank. DIY JRPG plot. Yeah, pretty much. I need something that'll increase my vitality, because that is very steadily running out. That said, this is a very unusual JRPG in that it's also a roguelike. Why do I get the feeling I made a mistake? The blank was chill and then blank done and oopsie and blank.
You are running low on vitality. When your vitality reaches 0, your health will start decreasing. Do you understand?
Yes.
Your life is chipping away. Eating hearts will replenish your vitality.
Hearts? Give me your heart. Forgot so much about this game. Heart. The vitality goes down like so quickly too. Ouch. All the enemies look weird. Well, they are supposed to be like sinners. Why, is a wheel charging you? I have no idea. What did he do? Probably ran over someone, I don't know. I probably should have expected that. It's Kirby in wheel form. He knows what he did. His sin's uncountable. Indefinite. I don't know why, but because of good old Golden Light, I saw my sword and the very first thing that popped in my head is, I need to eat this sword so I can heal. Sometimes explodes when opened. The poor small man, he was not a short king. Atonement. What I've got right now. Atonement is not very useful. I'm poisoned. There's a lot of poison in this area, jeez. Is that a heart? Branding. Unidentified? Well, I've got a few appraisal parasites. Trident. Hmm. Recovered from poison. Push branding. Yeah, there's a lot of sorts of things like that. Half? What does half do? Raises luck. Half torture. Kills half of the meta beings in the room. Move another floor down.
Remember your duty. Shoot the angelic rifle at the bottom floor and purify the world.
I hear the marketing team for Raid Shadow Legends is down here somewhere. At the bottom of the world. Maybe. The deepest sinners.
Receptor inhibitors. Prolactin decreasing. Increasing the dosage amount.
This one's a failure too.
No, eyeball reaction is up.
They're moving too fast.
Administer GER into the ventricle.
It's no use. Let's move on to the next one.
No, wait. Administering quasi-cellular. His spasming is subsiding. It's working.
Won't part of his simulation remain residually?
He'll think it's just a prophetic dream.
Will he follow the same pattern as the consciousness simulation?
You think the implanted memory will hinder him?
Should we re-inject some CCK?
There's no need for that. It's too hard to live in this world without some sort of a Baroque. Besides, he's regaining consciousness. Now go wherever you want. This will be your real atonement for your sin.
How do you test eyeball movement, and at what point is it too fast? New idea. I made it to the outer world. I don't think I ever did that when I first streamed this game.
You're right. It's better if I disappear.
I didn't mean to kick you.
Can you not stare at me, please? Say something. Can you not speak?
When it hits the rhythm of Sandstorm, it's too fast.
Horns? Who are you? Are you saying what I'm thinking? Stop that. Please, stop.
The members of the religious order of Malkuth said, the consciousness orbs gather at the bottom floor. There the world is delivered, and from there the world is released.
What happened to my memories? Why is there only guilt?
What have I done?
You have such fun coworkers. They're all in constant agony.
How's your memory? It seems you have difficulty speaking, but we must consider it fortunate that
Oh, if you're hearing like a weed whacker or whatever,
you should have already
don't mind that. I can't do anything about
understand,
that.
don't you? What you must do? Or do you know what you must do to atone
Neighbor.
for sin in the real world?
You don't hear it? Well, that's good at least. You can never tell how much is being picked up in any stream, honestly. Because sometimes the mic thing will move even if you don't have anything. I lost all my stuff. I guess I technically died. The fish committed tax frauds for their sins. Maybe. There's some meat. I really know how to pick some weird roguelikes, don't I? Between, you know, Golden Light and this. Though this one is marginally less unsettling to look at. Definitely less creepy. The funny thing is, I don't really see Golden Light as being that creepy, personally. But then again, I'm also much more used to horror and that sort of styling. In fact, I frequently draw it myself, so I guess it only fits. Antidote, that'll be useful. Okay, that was a trap. Huh?
Stay.
Okay. I feel like they were supposed to say something more, but I was walking too much. I forget, is there a map in this game? I don't think there was. Wait, no, there was. Just had to press the select button. Okay, I see now. That leads to that room. We've got a fish here. And the exit is right here. What is this about? Ah, I get it. That's already flipped down, I guess. It's always nice to have a slightly transparent map to work with, so you know where you're going.
Have you seen that female ghost?
She disappears into the walls.
Ghosts are frightening, even in a world like this.
Okay. That's a shoulder
I'm
base.
starving.
Why, yes, I am starving.
Munchy crunchy, munch munch munch.
Thank you ever so much.
What? You're welcome. I remember so little about this game. I always forget that it's like just really strange sometimes. How could you not remember this plot? Probably the fact that I haven't touched it since 2017. And that it's also, like, super vague. Oh, there's the exit, and I got a meat in return for the meat that I threw at them. They got their food, I got mine. I imagine if this game was to have been sold on Steam, like now, it probably would have gotten some interesting reviews or so. Though as it stands, this game does not have a whole, like, following for it at all. And that's mostly because, as far as I'm aware, this remake is first off the only way that, you know, people outside Japan could play this game. And second off, it was... I don't think it's sold very well, this remake. Neither in Japan nor in America. Or Europe. I'm out of vitality because I need to eat a heart. Oh, he hurts. Oh, and I'm dead. Definitely got bapped.
Have you learned? No. You must learn how to survive, even if it be slowly. The consciousness orbs around the world are connected. Part of your consciousness is absorbed by the orbs when you die and fed back into you. Hurry and complete your destiny. Now, use this.
So the thing about this recovery item that well, not recovery, this angelic item that I keep getting, you're technically supposed to not use it at all until, like, the final floor. There is not any good items here this time. can turn enemies into rotten meat. Why does it have 5 shots? I am not sure. If you're supposed to use it once. Roguelike. They do weird stuff. There's probably a reason for it, but or perhaps be naughty and shoot it. If you shoot it, it's one of the most powerful items in the game, as far as I'm aware. It does a lot of damage at the cost of not being able to be used too often.
Our scar? Have we forgotten that scar?
Oh, there we go. Lawnmower again. Like if I were... Is there a lock-on button? I forgot. I don't think there is a way to lock on. I believe there is a way to go into first person. But if you shoot it, I believe it's like a guaranteed insta-kill. And you get it, like, refreshed every single time you die, so... Basically, collect Angelic, then proceed down. And get licked by... wheels. This is, like, the least optimal position to be in. That was sad. Just constant enemies. This game I always have found rather interesting, though.
I'm not used to being subjected to pain when I get attacked. Picking up items is my hobby, though I can only hold 5 items. When the item list's got 10 items filled in, he's gonna make it so that the bag on my head can hold 10 items.
It's a bag on your head? Well, you did load into being attacked. Yeah.
If you want to give an item to a twisted one, throw it at them. There will be times you can enjoy their amusing reactions.
You gonna drop Angelic?
Are you in pain? I'm sure you are. You must be suffering from the guilt you have despite not knowing what sin you've committed. There is a way to heal that sin. You know how to heal your sin. Go to the Neuro Tower. Use it. There is meaning in you using it.
Give stuff to your friends? Yeah, you can at any point return to the Neuro Tower and just give stuff to the twisted ones that you're fighting. And there's also some orbs that you can find randomly in the Neuro Tower. And if you throw stuff in them, that kid with the bag on his head, if you can even call that a bag, he will basically give you back the stuff that you had tossed in there. You can also do what I did earlier and I guess give meat to certain twisted ones. Good, I obtained a heart. Anything in this room worth snagging? Not much. Well, we can continue going further down. And I think next death I will call it for the day, because I would go longer, but get this, it's 90 degrees, and with the humidity it feels like 110. Yeah, it's kind of harsh. And thanks to where my AC is, I can't really have it on while streaming, because it kind of is very loud. Or at least it has to be to counteract this nonsense. So, needless to say, AC's off right now. Can feel you melting? Yeah, it is. Ow. Well, yeah, that's a pretty accurate description as well. I am on fire. Both in-game and in real life. Indeed. I'm hoping that the weather clears up. Oof. Just gonna flee from those things. Always remember, when playing a roguelike, you can always just run away. Sometimes it's even the better option.
If you combine a parasite
with another parasite to create a composite parasite, you'll have quite a useful parasite.
Do I even have a... I do have an appraisal parasite. Appraise the bones. I can only appraise one set. Experience.
myself then.
None of the bones give me what I need. We dropping. Bones is the name of a identifiable thing. It's one of the things that can be identified. Weapons and armor can be identified. Bones and hearts can be identified. And so can coats. The exit's right there, but I want to try and at least get some armor. There we go. Oh no. We're leaving. We do not have a good layout for all of this stuff. Yeah, it's definitely a time to run. Oh no! All these wheels! Fire! This is very bad. Help me, spinning thing. Make them not come here. Ooh, health. Oh, I've been recovering food. Not food. I've been recovering health slowly through vitality. I see. So when I lose, like, a vitality, I gain, like, a thing in health. So all that running has been useful. Oh, I see! That's water, I can't swim. My bones! Full health does not prevent vitality loss. Give me back my bones. I need those. What is that thing? What is this thing? I actually kind of like the design of them. Ouch. But man, do they hurt. Increase the max vitality. And those bones be unidentified. No, they multiplied. I am now leaving this area. Let's get deeper down. Oh. Ouch. So many enemies. This is not the path to go. Good news is they're attacking each other right now as I run. I can just leave, right? There we go. Guess I can identify those bones now. Real talk, this game's got some actually pretty cool, like, monster designs. More health. This seems like it would have some plot significance, this orb. I never got really good armor for this, and I'm probably also, like, seriously underleveled right now. I'm in an awkward situation where I can't do damage to the enemies, but they can do all of it to me. Like, don't need levels. Yeah, I'm basically just legging it right now. This is a pacifist run. That's what it is. Hopefully this game doesn't have any boss fights, otherwise I'm screwed. What is that thing? We now have ceiling beasts. I have more reason to leg it. Oh god, immediate enemies everywhere. Oh, I got a cursed item. Obtained, don't have? There's a lot going on right behind me, and I'm afraid to look back. There are so many enemies, what the hell? Increase max health. Contains an item you don't have. Okay, let's open it. Okay, I definitely didn't have it, that's for sure. Jesus. There's too many things. Desperation, how much damage? What does Evo do? It raises my level. Perfect. I needed something like that. If we can get more Evo, that would be great. Glass. How much defense? It's got a lot of defense, but I can't use it. Trident. It's surprising how much you can avoid by just running in this game. Gum? What? What gum? Oh, Trident. I didn't get it at first. Yeah, I know it's a brand of gum. I didn't immediately associate it because I was thinking about the game, not real world. Thank God it was recovery. Oh God. So many enemies in that one room that it actually caused, like, the game to chug a little bit. What the? I don't even know what I witnessed there. What's going on? Huh? This game gets more confusing the further you get in. Oh no. I got confused, no. Oh, it's surprising how far I got just by, like, running. But that should be a good stopping point right there. It's hot as heck, and I'm melting. But yeah, it's been fun, though, just to hang out like this. And I've got work tomorrow, but after that, I've got like 5 days off in a row. So needless to say, my workplace is really heavily cutting hours again. Yes, again. Well, I think on Monday, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play Kingdom Hearts until I beat it. And then on Wednesday, we're just going to play Xenoblade Chronicles for the usual time. I don't think I'll have anything on Friday, because I think I've got work that day, and it's like an 11 to 7. In fact, I think I've got like 3 days in a row that week. Let me double check. Friday, 11 to 7. Saturday, 11 to 7. Ooh, Sunday, 7 to 3. Depending on what I have for next week, I might end up streaming on Sunday when I get back from work. We'll see. But for now, we are going to look into raiding. Let's see who we can raid. Someone's playing Ninja Gaiden? Oh no. Oh, actually, here you go. This one's for you, Loot Cat. This person is playing League of Legends. Ninja Gaiden cursed game or League of Legends. When Ninja Gaiden comes out, I'm actually gonna play that. Or the collection of the Ninja Gaiden games. I'm gonna play that again. I actually had played that when I was little, and somehow, I don't know how, I had beaten it on Master Ninja difficulty. If I still had my original Xbox, I would show you the save file. But I think that was one of the things we lost in the move. We lost a lot of things in the move now that I think about it. We lost our Dreamcast, the Atari 2600. And what else did we lose? We lost the Nintendo Entertainment System, the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. I think we also lost the Wii. That is a shame. I miss the Wii. Regardless, for now, we're gonna raid Mephiles Hex. They're playing League of Legends right now. They do have a very thick accent, so if you have trouble understanding them, don't worry about it. You'll come to grips with it eventually. But to all of you who have hung out, Loot Cat, Windex, Kisheru, Kira, Jellycat, was there anyone else? Bulldog, who stopped by briefly. To all of you, I hope you have a lovely day. And just know that I'm very thankful for all of you to have stopped by today. And y'all take care. Ciao. Love y'all.